Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA. Let's talk about what has happened to NVIDIA today, what occurred overall, and what we can expect moving into next week and essentially the next month. So again, if you enjoy, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. It does help a lot. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, updates, etc. Well, again, I do share my thoughts with my members every single day as the market is open. So definitely check that out. That link is, of course, down below where, we have completely and utterly predicted this move almost to perfection. I mean, you really can't make this up. So again, if you're interested, check it out, guys. Join up. Link is in the description. For just $3 a month, you get access to all my Tesla updates, broader market updates as well, SPY, VIX, options flow, different time frame analysis, etc. throughout the day as the market's open and trading. So we'd love to have you there. $5 a month if you're interested instead. Gives you access to the second tier, which includes NVIDIA as well. Or for $7 a month, you get access to the whole package. You get access to the first two tiers, plus, of course, access to my tier 3 posts, which include non-Tesla, non-NVIDIA stocks, essentially, and access to the private Discord, where we have a tier 3 chat room, members day trading, posting stuff, sharing thoughts. I also post in there as well sometimes, things that I don't even also post on YouTube sometimes, like small tidbits, if you will. And of course, also, I do every single Sunday chart requests and reviews with tier 3 members. But yeah, jumping into it, NVIDIA, what is it doing today? Well, NVIDIA, it's going to plan. I mean, there's not much more to say, right? Ultimately, we mentioned how this is going to be a small little bull flag. I expect it to be a little pop from here, right, to about closer to 210. We ended up getting to 208, so close enough. But nonetheless, a small little pop over here, but I do expect it to be a bull trap. And that's exactly what happened. We got that small little pop and we pretty much sold off the entire day slowly but surely. And we also lost this trend line. So hey, you know what? Sometimes, it does feel like that fortune ball is working pretty well in my favor. But in this case, yeah, it played out almost to perfection, guys. This is exactly what I expected and exactly what's happening. So what's next for NVIDIA, though? The next thing for NVIDIA is going to be, watch for 200 down to about 195. I do expect NVIDIA, now that it lost its trend line, to begin a short-term pullback. I do expect a pullback. I do expect some potential weakness to set in on NVIDIA here, but that's nothing to be, scared of or whatever. I still think the stock is actually quite bullish overall. So for now, watch for about 200 down to about 195. I expect this major region right here to be a pretty strong support, right? This was, of course, previous all-time high resistance. So if we come down to 195, I do expect some, strong support to start kicking in pretty aggressively, but also kind of fill this fair value gap right here at around 197. So again, watch for between 200 to 195. I think some pretty substantial support should really start poking its head out in there. And I think a lot of bulls are probably waiting around this area right now. We also have the 4-hour. Remember, I mentioned how we got that bearish crossover. Remember we got that bearish crossover. And then, I expected that small little pop into most likely continued selling pressure and weakness. Well, the SMI, as usual, coming in pretty clutch here, right? Once again, as we got, a little bit overextended, we are now making our way down to the downside as it begins its cool off, which is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. So I expect that to continue, unfortunately, though. However, the overall perspective on the daily is actually still quite bullish, right? I mean, it's hard to look at this chart and not be bullish overall. Doesn't mean that we can't get some short-term pullbacks, but the bigger picture still looks pretty good until obviously something says otherwise. But as of right now, it still looks pretty good. So we have the 9 exponential moving average currently sitting at 195 and change. It'll go up a little bit starting Monday to like probably 196. So NVIDIA coming down to, again, anywhere between 200 to 195 to also meet that 9 exponential moving average. However quick or long it takes would be that sort of level to watch for, and that kind of level of interest, if you will. So watch for that range. To me, the worst case scenario is back to closer to 190 though. Like that's where the 21 EMA is sitting. That's like if things really go badly here, we lose 195, then probably 190, right? Watch for that level next. But as of now, I do expect some good support to stick in, to be waiting for NVIDIA around that general range, right? And I also expect us to be kind of making what will ultimately end up looking more and more, a little bit early right now, but as it develops, kind of a bigger bull flag here, right? I do expect NVIDIA to kind of be setting up this kind of, larger bull flag situation here as a kind of bull flags, ideally on lower volume, which would be even more ideal. So I would like to see the volume decrease. But the overall picture is I expect NVIDIA to bull flag into the 9 exponential moving average. Worst case scenario, the 21 EMA as they slowly play catch up. And then I think from here, we end up going most likely even higher as we rally into earnings. And then from there, anyone's guess, of course. But that's kind of my base projection right now for NVIDIA. Very nice, very quick, very simple video. I don't want to overcomplicate it. NVIDIA is a pretty, I don't want to say simple stock. Nothing is simple, but it's more of just like, it's a stock that very much respects its technicals. And I'll be watching this very closely as the stock begins its pullback here, because I do believe that there's most likely going to be another pop into earnings. I'd be surprised if it isn't. The stock is just too bullish still, right? It's hard to look at the stock and not be somewhat bullish still overall, right? It'll be pretty surprising if it just completely collapses down like this. Like I don't think that'll happen, at least not until earnings. Maybe earnings will drop it, who knows, but at least not until earnings again. So my current projection is something like this. Maybe 215, maybe even 220 into earnings. We'll see. Again, I don't want to make those kind of claims just yet, but let's take a step by step. But overall, the TLDR, the easiest way of looking at it, watch for between 200 to 195, bullish pullback, both legs setting up. And then from there, we will continue, assessing the stock and seeing how it overall develops moving forward. But all in all, guys, that's pretty simply what I want to say. Not much more to say other than that. I did see some nice bearish flow come in towards the end of the day. Very nice, mixed flow actually over here. But the main thing that really caught my eye is, of course, this 2.5 million and this 2 million. So 4.5 million, 202.5 puts that came in for next week, right? That's pretty substantial. Someone also got 160 puts for next week as well, only 120k, which it's pretty decent actually considering how out of the money that is. So we'll see how that plays out. There's some bullish calls in between, of course, as well, but a lot of them are for 1031, so I'm not really sure what's that about. So they're not as meaningful because they expired today, but I do see those puts for next week. So even further validates that I think that there's a good chance NVIDIA gets that continued pullback, but again, nothing to worry about, at least not yet. It could be, but nothing yet, as the stock continues setting up what looks to be just another bullish continuation pattern moving forward. But all in all, guys, that's all I got for you. Quick little simple video. Hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, I'll see you Monday. Peace.